Welcome, golf fans, pursuers of knowledge and the almighty dollar. This is your golf guru bringing you the 2021 Houston Open preview show, and we will quickly recap the Bermuda. As not a lot to say on that one, except congrats to Brian Gay. But I will go through my picks, see how I ended up, and then we'll get into let's talk about the Houston Open and move on. So just real quick on the Bermuda, give you a little background on mine. You know, I actually ended up having really good picks, but just the way that my team's configured, I did not cash in the $10 100,000. I only did 8 teams, did 5 teams in the $44. It was the first weekend in a long time that I did not cash. And what's amazing is that my picks were actually on. It's just the way my teams got configured, just did not work out. So I won't even do the comparison with whoever won the 100,000 because I didn't have I had a 5 out of 6 and it didn't even cash. So there you go. And what was amazing was there was, from what I could tell, there was very minimal 6 out of 6 teams. So anyway, let's get into it. So what killed me straight out the bat, I had a lot of Charlie Hoffman, Peter Molinari builds, and Charlie Hoffman just played like total trash. Doc Redman ended up getting a T4, so good for him. He couldn't pull it out. Typical Doc Redman on Sunday. I think he shot like 1 under, something like that. The putter didn't do anything. Tringali just missed a cut by 1 stroke. Shot 2 over. McCarthy, his game still playing well. Ended up with a T4, and then Molinari leading the tournament after Thursday, and then of course the winds kicked up, which changed a lot of people's outlooks for their tournament, and ended up with a T21. Adam Schenk ended up with a T28. Stuart Sink, again, playing great golf, ended up with a T4. Wes Bryant, who was the super chalk, for that price, everybody, even me thought, hey, great fit. And Wes Bryant's game's been on the uptick, but he miscut, not barely, but miscut badly. Aniban Lahiri, again, great outing. Keep an eye on him, as a sleeper. Ended up with a T11. Doug Gim, with a T14, so all good there. Again, I hit 4 out of the 5 in my mid-range, which was solid. My value plays also wasn't bad. I hit 3 out of the 5, so Gillick with a T11, Will Gordon a T34, Laboda a T16, then Wes Roach, which I knew his game was not trending that great, but he had a great outing here last year at Bermuda. And then Chris Baker, bit of a flyer, but yeah, he missed a cut. And then on my phase, I was pretty dead on this too. McCumber missed the cut. Henrik Stenson on Friday, shot like six bogeys in a row. Said, screw this. The wife's at the pool and having drinks. I'm out of here. He bolted, supposedly an ankle injury. I don't believe it. I think he just had enough. Rasmus Hallgaard for almost $9,000, a T37. Not, good thing we were off that. Aaron Wise for 8,600, a T26. Again, I don't feel like anything that I missed out on not playing Aaron Wise. And then Brendan Todd, as we knew the game, the most expensive player, little chalky. I wouldn't say he was super chalk like a Wes Bryant, but he was a little chalky and, missed the cut. Didn't miss the cut badly, but did miss the cut. And then even my hidden gems that I put on Wednesday, all of them made it through to the weekend. All would have got you some extra points. None of them was game changers. Except my call with Ryan Armour, who ended up, again, he was less than $7,000. I don't even think it was highly owned. I didn't even look at the ownership off the top of my head, but ended up with a T8, had a chance to even win the tournament, but just, couldn't do enough on Sunday. And funny enough, that was his position the previous year, was the 8th. So my total summary is, Wes Bryant, or I'm sorry, not Wes Bryant, Brian Gay. The only thing that guy did the whole year before this was, again, he had a 3rd place or a T3 at Bermuda before. So there's the horses for courses. His game fits it. Same with like a Ryan Armour. Doesn't hit the ball real far, but usually pretty accurate. And it's all whatever the putter does. And note to self, Brian Armour on Bermuda is live. So there you go. I couldn't believe that Wyndham Clark couldn't get his first win on tour. From a quality of player, Wyndham Clark hands down. Nothing against Brian Gay, but the guy has kept his car for 20 years. Awesome. But if you look at his 20-year career, never even really competed in a major. He's had 5 total wins now, and all of them have been at, subpar events. Like I'm talking like alternate, nothing like at a WGC or a Players. Like, but hey, man, the guy's living the life. Just won over 700K, and guess what? He's 48 years old. He just got status for the rest of his time on tour, and then can go on the senior tour. So great for him. I just didn't have any Brian Gay, even though I saw his past history at Bermuda. But I'm like, that's, anybody can have a one good outing. So let's move on to greener pastures and on to the Houston Open preview. Things that we have to watch out and know for here. So again, they can't make our job easy. This tournament was always played in Humboldt, Texas at the Golf Club of Houston, but I have no idea, but they had changed the venue for this year, and they're playing at a public course that was just redone by Tom Doak about 2 years ago, which is called the Memorial Golf Club Golf Course, and anybody can go play there if you're in Texas and Houston. For the public members, it plays around 7,000 from the tips, and I believe it's a par 70. For what they will be doing for the tournament, it is going to be a par 72 and be playing around 7,300 yards. So going to need some distance off the tee. We're looking at the same kind of fairways and rough and greens that we just had, Bermuda both. And I don't think you really care about the purse and the coverage. So on the Bermuda was these island courses that have no shot link data and no coverage, except you got 3 hours on the Golf Channel, makes life a little tougher too. But the good news is for this one, PGA Live will be covering it, so you can watch full, start to close to get a real good understanding what's going on. Let's talk a little more else. What else is there to know? Just side note, there was like 50 bunkers, sand bunkers here, and then they reduced those down to like 20 sand bunkers. I guess that was a lot. I think even Koepka stated it, to make it a little easier on the public playing it. What else is something that we need to know here? I think that's about it from a course perspective. I guess the rough is going to be up. So, shot making and accuracy off the tee is going to be, we'll say, at a premium. Let's talk about the field, because we do have a really good field comparative to what we just had at the Bermuda. We got the likes of Brooks Koepka. Phil Mickelson will be here, who, always wants to play the event before the Masters. This is the 9th event of the super season, and is the event before the Masters. You're going to have Adam Scott playing, which is, he didn't get to play at the last, the Zozo due to COVID, but he will be in this. Francesco Molinari, who I believe played at Shriners. He played at Shriners. So it was his first outing we've seen in forever, but he will be here too. He didn't make the cut at Shriners, but didn't play terrible for like literally not playing golf for like 9 months. Jordan Spieth will be here, Shane Lowry, Sergio, Day, Henrik Stenson, which I'll be interested if he actually plays in this, even if the ankle's fine or not. Zach Johnson, we got to keep an eye on him. He was playing really good golf. An Iowa native, so can play in the wind, and that's going to be a factor here. You got Lanto Griffin, who won it here last year. I didn't actually mention that on the previous, but that's why Lanto Griffin was under. He was the winner last year. Got Ian Poulter, Sungjae M, and Victor Hovland. We'll talk about those guys. And just seeing Doc Redman, who just played at the Bermuda, Stuart Sink, and Denny McCarthy will all be here. You got Harris English, who's been playing really good golf. The key things we'll be looking for is total strokes gained, tee to green, and a couple of unique ones that I think will be scrambling, which we don't usually look at that, but that I will be putting that in the model. And also strokes around the green, I guess, from everything I'm seeing, is going to be significant. What we're looking at is the top 20 players in the field just from a total shot gain category, who's leading it. And no shocker, DJ, Russell Henley, you got Cameron Davis. Lee Westwood was interesting that he came up. So I think this is the past 24 rounds. He's been playing pretty decent golf over in Europe. So just some of that I had to do some, deep dive into. But the other guys, sticking out is no shocker. Sam Burns been playing pretty well. Pat Perez noted, which I'm sure if you had any Pat Perez, which I did not, withdrew. And which was funny is that, and I don't know why he withdrew. I know he's had some medical issues in the past with his back and whatnot. But he actually made the cut. He shot one over and then withdrew. So that was very interesting for a guy that, you know, where I look at it, he's all FedEx Cup and any dollars that he can make. So something must be wrong there if you actually turn down money, because if he makes the weekend, worst case, you know, you're going to get a check for, you know, I don't know at that tournament, but somewhere like 15, 20K maybe. Okay, one thing we are going to have to look at is the guys that are Texas natives or collegiates of Texas. These guys know how to play in the wind, are very comfortable with it. And I just thought I'd, you know, the guys that are in this field that we should look out for, keep an eye on, of course, Scotty Scheffler, well-known University of Texas guy. You got Jonathan Vegas, who is a resident of Texas. Dylon Fratelli, who will be in this, is also a Texas guy. One of the well-known Texas guys is Patrick Reed. And, of course, Jordan Spieth, University of Texas. And last is Bo Hostler, is in the field, played University of Texas. So all those guys, I got to do analysis. But typically when you come to Texas, you know, you got to keep an eye. These guys will be, you know, definitely live, except, I don't know, Jonathan Vegas. He did make the cut at the Bermuda, but his game's just not been there. So I don't know. We'll have to see about that. Some other notable, just for your own brain, is, of course, Ryan Palmer, but he's not in the field, and Abraham Answer. Just a couple of guys. If, you know, again, if you used to be the swing season down here in Texas, but there's a break because, of course, the Masters, you know, those guys would be live too, but not in the field. Just some notes also on players: strokes gained, tee to green, DJ, Russell Henley, Hideki. I already had those guys pulled that were the top. But what's interesting around the green that we'll be looking at: Siwoo Kim is number one, Padre Harrington, Alex Noren, Luke Donald. That's literally just looking at the number one around the green. Harold Varner, who I guess is going to be in this, who, you know, he killed some of my lineups and probably killed some of yours, also not making the cut at the Bermuda. So real quick, just pulled up, as I mentioned, Brooks Koepka knows this course in and out because he helped design it. So we just got to keep an eye on it. And Brooks' game was picking up a little bit in the last, the Zozo. You know, didn't do great, but did make it to the weekend. Hideki, another guy, as I mentioned, great approach, great around the green, decent, you know, good off the tee. Putter, as you know, it was going pretty well recently, so we'll have to see, look at the stats. But the putter is what's going to help him. And then you got Scotty Scheffler, who made his debut after the U.S. Open at the Sanderson Farms. Struggled there, was hooking a lot, but got better as days went on, and his game's gotten better. Pretty good outing at the last event he played at. And Sungjae M, guy that we'll look at. I like Sungjae here. And Victor Hovland. So out of the big three rookies, Wolf, Morikawa, Hovland is the only one that is in the field this week. But with his Oklahoma State background, as I mentioned, will be a player that we will be definitely targeting. So thank you so much. That was just a quick preview of the Houston Open, give you a little bit of knowledge of what's going on. Again, we don't have the past stat information because this is at Memorial Park, not at the Golf Club of Houston. So just make that duly noted that if you are using whatever models or information, it will typically pull up the Golf Club of Houston, and it's not going to really help you here. Now, is it a comparable course? I don't even know. I haven't looked that deep into it, but we will be looking at some comp courses. We'll be looking at how these guys play out in the wind. So all of that will be a factor. So if you are new to the show and you like what you see, please like and share and subscribe. I will be releasing my picks and fades tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, you also will get the hidden gems and ownership projections. So all the best to us going into the Houston Open and getting also on tandem, also working on the Masters show. So a lot of cool golf coming up. Got over the Bermuda. Now we're back into some strong fields, and then we got the Masters. So a lot to be excited about. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.